Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next episode of Orwell's Minutemen. Today we will be taking a brief introductory look at what we and a large portion of the internet call the Regressive Left. I'm Lexington. I'm joined today by Concord.
Yep, that's me.
And so we're going to go ahead and start just right off the bat. We're going to talk about an anti-bullying bylaw that was recently proposed in Canada.
Well, I think maybe first we should say what we mean by the regressive left.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's get some definitions out here first. Also, I want to give you guys a little disclaimer. My allergies have been punching me in the face for the past few days, so my voice is probably going to be pretty rough.
I'm genetically superior, so I don't have allergies.
Yeah, you are. I've got my tea here and try to keep my voice relatively smooth, but I'll probably be coughing as well, so just know that. So, the regressive left. The regressive left is generally recognized to be a portion of the left, being the liberal end of the political spectrum.
Yes, the left side of the political spectrum.
That seems bent on regressing society back to a less developed form under the guise of advancing it.
Of progression.
Yes.
Essentially, they claim to be progressives, but they're moving back, and yeah. So
no. What are progressives? These progressive liberal notions that we should let homosexuals marry, and we shouldn't have segregated toilets in public. Those are all very progressive ideas, but these regressives, under the same banner, have begun to push against these things. Oddly, we have suddenly this call for resegregation of college dormitories.
Yeah.
All sorts of other crazy
Although, instead of taking the stance of, reuniting people instead of keeping people separate based on race, it's now sort of, let's get away from the white people,
Yeah, there's definitely a very strong notion of white people and men are bad.
Yeah.
And they need to be... They need to be brought down, they need to be harmed, and we need to stay away from them because they are innately harmful.
All right. So now that we've established sort of what the regressive left is, we're going to take a look at probably one of their finer points of legislation.
Definitely one of their finer points and one of their most recent.
Yeah. So there's a bylaw, an anti-bullying bylaw in Canada that has recently garnered a lot of attention. And, an anti-bullying bylaw, that sounds great, doesn't it?
Anti-bullying sounds great, right? We don't want anybody to get bullied.
Yeah,
we don't want to be bullied.
So, obviously, anyone who would oppose an anti-bullying bylaw is probably a bully, right? Would you say that?
You're probably also a Trump supporter.
Probably. More on Trump. We love Trump. We don't love Trump. So this anti-bullying bylaw states that, it defines bullying as any repeated, unprovoked comment or conduct likely to cause someone harm, fear, or physical or psychological distress. That's a really broad.
It's a very broad definition, but on the surface, it looks kind of okay. Well, what is this law doing? It's stopping people from being intimidated. It's stopping people from being harmed. That sounds okay, right?
It sounds progressive.
It sounds awfully progressive, but then you start to think about it.
You start to think about it a little bit, and under the guise of progression, this is regressive, man. I mean, for the first offense, and this is for anyone that is older than the age of 12.
Mm-hmm.
For the first offense of saying something that could cause someone harm, fear, or physical or psychological distress, you will be fined $300. Now, we're not sure if that's Canadian or U.S., because the U.S. currency is clearly superior in every way.
Either way, it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's close.
It's going to be close.
It's like 1 to 1.3 or something like that. So, then, fines for repeat offenses. $2,500.
$2,500 for saying something mean to someone.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, think about this for a moment. We're not talking about criminal harassment. We're not talking about death threats or anything like that. They are honestly talking about, like, gossip in public.
And I'm glad you said public, because it's not just public. This bylaw will apply to public places like parks and streets. You know, that's sort of obvious, but it will also apply to private establishments like bars, restaurants. Nowhere is safe.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they start installing
or I suppose
telescreens.
Everywhere is safe. I just did air quotes.
Well, they're trying to make the whole world a safe space.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't familiar with what a safe space is a regressive leftist idea of being an area where people can go to escape dissenting opinions, where they can go and lock themselves in an echo chamber and just talk to people who agree with them all the time.
Yeah.
But basically, Saskatoon, Canada is on its way to becoming one giant safe space.
Massive safe space. So, why are we opposed to this? Well, because anything offensive can be put under this law. And if you're saying, Lex, man, you're being like way too sensitive about this.
You called me a racial slur earlier today.
I did call him a racial slur earlier today. That's true. If you're being way too sensitive about this, there's no way that this sort of thing will cause abuse, right? No way this will cause abuse.
Because it gets better. Because you have Saskatoon retired police sergeant Brian Traynor coming out and saying, well, you know, it's also illegal to spit on the sidewalk, but you don't see police officers going around enforcing that law, do you? So he says, well, don't worry, because this law probably won't be enforced.
This is the guy that's like the main proponent for the law.
It is so supremely naive to say, well, we can pass this law because it won't be enforced. But it could be enforced, couldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it could.
That person over there has said something that I disagree with. That person over there has expressed a dissenting opinion, and it's caused me physical harm,
fear, physical or psychological distress. Now, psychological distress is the main point that I want to focus on, because if you're like, man, you're wrong. There is a way this can be abused. And you know, going on screen right about now is, you know, an article about, it's titled, "Students Scared by Trump 2016 Chalk Signs." All right. So these are students that are concerned and frightened, all right, for the following images that we're about to show. All right, this is your trigger warning.
The following images are extremely offensive. I really hope YouTube lets us keep them up. They might not, but you've been warned. We're gonna put them on screen now.
Here they are.
Brace yourselves.
Oh man, here they are. You can see that these people are frightened and concerned over the words Trump 2016 written in chalk.
I had
around their
nightmares
campus
for weeks after I read this article.
So, the people who wrote Trump 2016, boom, you have to pay $300.
They have psychologically harmed.
These are students.
These fragile college students.
They have voiced genuine concern and pain as a result of these chalk signs. And does that not clearly fall under the definition that says likely to cause someone harm, fear, or physical or psychological distress?
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, these students were up in arms.
Yeah, they protested. 40 to 50,
somebody dared make public their support of a presidential candidate that they didn't like.
And based on this criteria, I mean, couldn't it be sort of construed that Trump would be fined for saying his own name?
I mean, if just the words Trump 2016 can inflict psychological damage upon a person, I would imagine that any word out of Trump's mouth, Trump's face, would become just a terribly scarring article. It's terrible.
And since we've said Trump, doesn't this mean this video would probably be fined for $300? Because
not only this video, our first video, we defended Trump's freedom of speech.
Oh, man, we can't do that.
We defended the freedom of speech of all people, including fascists. And I am sure that there are plenty of college students out there who would be utterly incensed by this assertion that all people have the fundamental right to free speech. So, I mean, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna get my my credit card out now.
Yeah.
Hand it over to Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm just gonna give him my whole bank account. Just forfeit it, right? So, and I mean, you might say, Lex, this is just the article, right? These people can't be serious. No. They wrote to the they wrote to the school administration and specifically said, "You are not listening. Come speak to us. We are in pain."
They are in pain because somebody dared support a political candidate that they do not like. Just drink that in for a moment. Somebody exercising their free speech, somebody looking to prop up the candidate that they support, have inflicted pain on a group of students, and these students are now demanding that they be silenced.
Yep.
Now, I would be willing to bet that these students support either Clinton or Sanders. Mm-hmm. So the next time I see a Clinton or a Sanders sign or flyer or somebody supporting Clinton or Sanders, I'm going to walk up to them and tell them, well, you've psychologically damaged me.
I'm going to voice genuine concern and pain.
Yes. And then when they tell me to leave, I'm going to say, listen, you're not listening to me. I'm in pain.
We are in pain.
You're hurting me by exercising your political freedoms.
So this also means that since the name Trump causes people, I mean, they're caused psychological distress by the word Trump. That means under this bylaw, anyone who supports Donald Trump one time is fined $300. And then for repeated offenses of supporting Donald Trump, $2,500. So, yeah. I mean,
it's
this bylaw is just terrible. And remember, this is anti-bullying.
Yes, it's all under the guise of we're going to stop bullying. And you know what? Maybe it was created with that mission in mind. They were actually trying to create a law that would cut down on bullying. They obviously didn't think of all the possible ramifications that would come about of passing this law.
Yeah. No, they did not. And that sort of brings us to our third point about the regressive left, and this is institutionalized regressivism. I don't know if that's a word.
Institutionalized regressivism. It is now.
Oh, there you go. It's a word. You heard it here first. I'm going to put it up on screen right now. Institutionalized regressivism. Quotes. Lex.
Certainly.
It's there. So,
next article.
Not Breitbart. Breitbart is the
website.
Breitbart is the website that we found the article on. The Glasgow Police Department sent out a tweet that says, "Think before you post, or you may receive a visit from us this weekend. Use the internet safely."
Yeah, they follow up with this little acronym, THINK.
It's a brilliant acronym.
And it says, think before you post, or you may receive a visit from us this weekend. Use the internet safely. T, is it true? H, is it hurtful? I, is it illegal? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind?
And so now we're going to move through each of these points one by one. So, Concord, is it illegal to post, false information on the internet?
If it was illegal to post false information on the internet, every major news source on the planet would be imprisoned, just their entire staff.
The internet is like 99% just false stuff.
Certainly.
All over the place. It's mostly BS.
Certainly.
H, is it hurtful? Now, is it illegal to post hurtful? And remember, hurtful is a very...
wholly subjective term.
Very subjective.
So, no. Is it distasteful? Perhaps. Is it to be discouraged? Perhaps, but it is not illegal.
It's not illegal. So, Concord, is it illegal to do illegal things on the internet?
It is indeed illegal to do illegal things on the internet. That's why we have a police force.
I'm glad we clarified. Is it necessary, or is it illegal to post unnecessary things on the internet?
This is my favorite one, because 99.998 repeating % of content on the internet is unnecessary. Facebook is wholly unnecessary. Twitter is wholly unnecessary. Instagram is wholly unnecessary. What do you mean by necessary? Like,
I mean,
is it required for the scientific advancement of the human race? Is it required for the national security of a nation? I mean, what?
I mean, technically,
The internet itself is unnecessary.
technically, the police department's Twitter is unnecessary, and therefore they should send the police department to arrest themselves.
Find themselves.
And now for the last one. Is it illegal to post unkind things on the internet?
No, it is not illegal to post unkind things on the internet. It is distasteful, and it is to be discouraged, but it is not illegal. You can post whatever hateful, horrible things you want to, but until such time as you act on them, as you do something that is a crime, you cannot be punished for it.
Well, the Scotland Police Department posted on their Twitter, offensive comments will be investigated.
Yeah, I love the fact that these police departments don't have anything better to do.
I mean,
With spate of terrorist attacks all across Europe and the Middle East, but we're gonna police Twitter. We're gonna worry about offensive comments on Twitter.
offensive comments. I mean, I could go out and just say, Hitler was all right, I guess, right? Boom, they're at my house. I'm in cuffs.
I'm expecting the FBI to show up here in probably about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
I mean, people are gonna take that soundbite.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna take that soundbite.
That's gonna come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I don't care.
Hitler was okay, I guess.
Oh, there you got it too.
2016.
You got it too, though. So, and I mean, this sort of offensive comments will be investigated sort of idea isn't unique to the police departments of Scotland or Glasgow or whatever. It's on Twitter. On Twitter.
Yes, Twitter has a built-in feature.
You can report someone else's tweet, and I'm putting it up on the screen right now.
We've seen this ourselves.
And now you've seen
And now you've seen it.
You can report someone based on a disagreeing opinion.
Yeah.
And not just report them, but action will be taken against them.
They can have, well, first off, you can block them so that you don't see their
triggering
triggering statements. And also they could potentially have their account suspended. Mm-hmm. They could have their platform removed. And this all ties back into shadow banning.
Oh yeah.
Shadow banning is another lovely feature on Twitter where the powers that be in the Twitter sphere will very quietly block accounts with what they deem to be unsavory content.
Conservatives.
Yes, anyone with a conservative opinion, anyone
Actually,
with
I'm going to revise that. Just anything that's anti-liberal.
Anything, not just anything that's anti-liberal, anything that's anti-regressive liberal. I mean, if you want to post, classical liberal ideas like, maybe the government shouldn't be all powerful, maybe capitalism is a good idea, there's a good chance you'll be shadow banned.
Yeah. I've been shadow banned, actually.
Yes, we have confirmed that you've been shadow banned.
Because I have plenty of rather conservative people that I follow on Twitter, and I don't see anything from them anymore. I don't see anything. Instead,
you do see?
I see good old Anita Sarkeesian in feminist frequency. I see Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. It's like they're trying to educate me.
Yeah, they're trying to re-educate you is what they're doing.
Suppose, yeah.
And you're not following these people, correct?
I'm not following these people.
You are not subscribed to them. You're not.
I tweeted them once.
I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know.
I mean, one time I tweeted Anita and I told her that I respectfully disagree with the basis of her entire platform.
If you're not familiar with Anita Sarkeesian, she makes a video series in which she calls out sexism in video games. The only problem being a lot of the information she uses is incorrect.
She hasn't played the games.
I don't think she's played the games.
As someone who has played the games, she hasn't played the games.
She'll make claims about these games that are just blatantly false. So, yeah.
And so I tweeted her once about disagreeing with the basis of her, the foundation of her platform. And then I also tweeted Bernie Sanders once, and I asked him I just asked him, what's your views on space exploration? What's your views on, science in general?
Are you going to fund science?
And I didn't get a response or anything, which I mean, I'm not salty about that. I'm kind of salty.
No, I mean,
I'm a little salty.
Bernie gets a lot of tweets every day, I'm sure.
Yeah, but,
Good old Bernie.
salty. No, but because I'm not following them, I'm certainly not following Hillary.
No.
But I still, every day, their stuff pops up on my feed. And the people that I do follow, like, Jeb Bush, I follow...
I know you follow Jeb.
I do follow Jeb. Jeb. Marco Rubio, Sargon of Akkad.
Mm-hmm.
All those people, they don't show up on my Twitter feed. So, I mean, we could go on and on and on about Twitter, and we're probably going to do an episode about Twitter.
Twitter is a cesspool. It's awful. And Twitter is starting to feel it in the pocketbook as well.
They are.
They're really starting to take a hit financially because of their Orwellian policies.
And so, making full circle, this anti-bullying bylaw is extremely authoritarian.
Definitely.
Extremely authoritarian.
We are talking about monitoring people's speech and then punishing people for speech we don't like.
Yeah.
All under the guise of, well, it's for your own protection.
And we can see that this can be abused because these are
certainly
in America. I mean, this event didn't occur in Canada, but people have said we should adopt this anti-bullying bylaw.
When you have people protesting just up in arms, saying that they are in pain because somebody dared support their political candidate. I mean, yeah, that's going to be difficult to ignore when they're suddenly saying, well, we've been harmed, we've been scarred by this.
So it can.
Why shouldn't that law take effect?
It can be abused. That's the thing. If you can somehow come up with some kind of utopian system where we can actually punish people that are being bullies, sure, but not this. This is definitely not the right way to go.
No.
Because, I mean, picking on someone is never a good thing. It's, we frown upon bullies here. But this won't, I mean, this might solve the problem, but it'll come with its own form of just other problems all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the Glasgow police, and we have a police force that is actually monitoring Twitter and threatening to arrive at their doorstep for saying something offensive or disagreeable.
I mean, right now we have the police monitoring your speech online. We have a proposed law in Canada that would seek to monitor your speech not only in public but within private residences. So my question is, how long until the telescreens start being installed?
Yeah.
How long before the thought police is created, and how long before the youth spies are encouraged to, call out their parents for unsavory speech?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
we have
that sounds alarmist, and
12-year-olds.
It was hyperbolized on purpose.
Yeah. We have 12-year-olds that are being affected by this, but also 12-year-olds that can take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's so authoritarian, and it had these movements, I suppose. Well, I mean, this bylaw and the Glasgow Police Department, their ideas are firmly built on the foundation of political correctness.
Mm-hmm.
And this was sort of the introduction to political correctness. What is it, and why is it the most terrible thing that has ever befallen this country?
I mean, I think political correctness started with a noble goal in mind. Because, it started in a time where, just after the civil rights movement, where, we were still very much feeling the effects of institutionalized racism.
Yeah.
And, don't call people racial slurs. Don't do stuff like that. But now it's just gotten so out of hand.
Oh, yeah.
It's
very out of hand.
It's everywhere.
And I believe it was George Carlin.
Good old George Carlin.
That said that political correctness is just fascism pretending to have manners.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Something along those lines. I love it. I love that quote so much. I believe I said it last episode.
Yeah,
I'll
we
probably say it next episode. I'll probably say it every episode about the Regressive Left.
And there will be plenty of episodes about the Regressive Left, because, I mean, every week there's some new horror coming out of the left. Because we've stopped fighting for freedom of speech, and we've started fighting for freedom from speech. For freedom from dissenting opinions. For freedom from people who disagree with us, which really disturbs me. Because my worldview has been shaped by actively seeking out dissenting opinions, and by debating them, by interacting with them, and by judging their merits. And we have a whole group of people who think, well, I'm right, so why would I want to interact with anyone else? In fact, interacting with anyone else is harmful. It hurts me.
It's harmful. It's... I can't believe that people take this stance. And that it's supported by the government, essentially. I mean, that's what this is, right? Canadian Anti-Bullying By Law
Yes.
supports political correctness in its extreme. And the Glasgow Police Department, threatening to show up on your doorstep if you say something offensive, is supporting political correctness in its extreme.
It's a sad world.
It is a very sad world.
Yeah. So there will be plenty more episodes to come on the Regressive Left.
Plenty, I promise.
There's always something new.
But again, there will also be plenty of other episodes coming out on the authoritarian right.
Oh, certainly. Oh, I think, both authoritarianism comes from both sides of the aisle. Authoritarianism knows no political affiliation.
We're not attacking the left, we are attacking the left. We're not only attacking the left. We're not only attacking a part of the left. We're trying to distribute it equally, but it seems like the regressive left movement is, the most vocal these days.
Yeah, right now, I would identify them as the gravest threat to freedom of speech and to our way of life. But you've got the alternative right gaining power, I think largely as a reaction to the rise of the regressive left. So we'll see where that goes.
We'll see where that goes, indeed.
There will always be a new adversary.
Always.
Authoritarianism
will never leave us.
Nope.
But
it will never be eradicated.
The people who fight authoritarianism will also never leave. So
no, well, I'm still breathing.
Mm-hmm. So, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Lex.
I'm Concord.
Signing out.
Godspeed.